You have been a foreigner overseas,
Yeah.
Azerbaijan and Thailand, so you yourself have had to adapt the way your teammates would have had to adapt to the English game and culture.
Yeah. And for me personally, as a coach, it's been probably the best learning curve of my life, not just my football life, my life, because I've discovered that there's other ways that it's done. You know, how you behave and do things in England is one way, of course, but when you find yourself in Baku, in Azerbaijan, guess what? It's very different. And there's certain things that you don't do, and there are certain things that you must do. And likewise in Thailand, very, very different again. You know, it's been a real plus for me getting out into the wider world through my football coaching. Great. But for me as a human being, for me as a person, it's been just a growth period that I couldn't have believed would ever have existed.
And to an extent yourself as well, although not as long as Gary, Turkey.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that as you was explaining it. A bit of everything for me in terms of being able to come to terms with being in a foreign country and dealing with the culture and the change, time differences, food. But it was the players that took me out for a meal, and that was when I felt most comfortable, because I was amongst my team, I was out there, and they were showing me, you know, how things are done, how they are outside of the game, and that was the most settling thing for me. Supporters took me out for meals and things like that. So they did, yeah. And I think, as Gary says, it's important to do that. You have to bond with your team and use those moments and accept that help from your team, because they want what's best for you. Because ultimately, when it comes to match day, they want you to be worried about the football match, not worried about, you know, how you're going to get home, or is your hotel going to be closed, or whatever, you know?
Or getting chucked out
Exactly,
in the middle of the night.
I knew you was going to put that.
I had to. Do you know the story?
No, go on, tell me.
I got an issue with the hotel. I got evicted from my hotel.
In the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night. Told to get all my stuff out. Basically, the club hadn't paid the bills, and the hotel had a problem with that, understandably. And the solution to it is that this player no longer stays here anymore. I ended up going to a new hotel with help from some of the supporters to find me a best hotel, and forking out, you know, the money myself.
The best part is the middle of the night, but the press were there taking pictures.
Yeah.
So there's pictures of Darius, literally.
In his pyjamas.
I got dressed.
You got a dress. You got a painting, I think.
Yeah, I got all my stuff, yeah.
A guitar?
Guitar, painting, all my suitcases and all that. The painting was Ataturk. The picture very important to me. Guitar, suitcases. I think it's all my stuff. You know, I think it took 2 taxis to get all my stuff to the other hotel. I had to pay for that as well.
It was quite a picture. You could see the face. Face like thunder, I think is how I would describe it. When it comes to the foreigners coming to England, etc., do they get the banter? Do they understand? Because English humour, like my wife is Malaysian, she studied in England for 5 years, and she says English humour is the worst. Whereas I'll sit there and watch the classics, say Blackadder, to more modern stuff like In-Betweeners. I
think there's a English football banter which takes place in football environments. It's probably separate from what you see on TV and things like that. And it is hard to get, but it's really funny when a foreigner starts to pick it up. Starts to pick up the language, pick up accents, pick up twangs, pick up
Birmingham,
things. And when they start doing that, they're one of you then, and that's nice to see. And funny enough, that was what I ended up doing when I went to Turkey. There was a situation where I'd first signed, I was on a pre-season tour, and at the end of the day, they went to the bar in the hotel with the manager, ordered loads of waters, and started singing these songs and dancing. And I was there, you know, thinking, what you say? First of all, I don't know what you're saying. I've never heard these songs before, and what kind of dancing is that? And I was there for about 2-3 minutes, and then it came round to me, this dance, because we were doing it individually round in a circle, and I was like, well, what am I going to do? And I just went in and freestyled and started doing something, and they absolutely loved the fact that I was prepared to, you know, make a fool of myself, and it kind of just broke the ice. I was no longer this, you know, super signing that was going to come to say I was one of them, and it was an important moment, and I think it is very it's very endearing when that happens. You know, obviously it happened for me when I went to Turkey, but I've seen it happen when players have come to England as well.
I have to apologise. I realise I completely knocked your singing skills. For all I know, you could have a beautiful singing voice.
Not quite, no.
So it wasn't.
And I won't be singing, regardless of these mics.
No. I don't think any of us will be singing.
I certainly won't, no.
What about, how did you find, say, Ozzy Ardiles adapting to the humour in England?
Well, he's now lived in England for decades, and Ozzy was and still is a very intelligent guy, and he used the language to his own advantage. So if he got into trouble, I don't know, maybe he's driving his car too fast and he gets stopped, then of course he can't speak English, and he works his way out of it. Whereas we all know that his English is perfectly good enough. And of course the other thing with foreigners is that if they don't pick up on it, they get taught all the inappropriate words on the training park. So a foreigner within a matter of days is able to swear extremely well in the new language.
And how funny is it to hear when they do?